Hello and welcome to Oh When the Town. This is our preview show looking ahead to tomorrow's fixture at Kenilworth Road between Luton Town and Wigan Athletic. Tonight I'm joined by Dave and Patara's back on the preview pod. Evening guys, how are we?
Very well. Very nice to see Pataro back, giving an opinion at last.
This is being recorded before our midweek fixture with Cardiff City this week, so hopefully we've come out of that with a positive result. But back at home again tomorrow against a team that were promoted last year from League One. In your head you're probably thinking newly promoted team at home, it's going to be a win, but it's going to be a tough game tomorrow, isn't it?
I think it's time for us to move on and get our first home win. So I'm feeling quite confident about the game, to be fair. Not because they've come up, but because we've got a little bit of momentum. So I think it's time for us to win. Mm-hmm. I think they can't go all home games this season without getting that first win. And I think
this is the thing, we need that first home win. But I think, like you say, you're looking at it maybe saying, oh yeah, needs to win, is a winnable game. I think any game is winnable, but we don't look at it like that. I'm sorry, we just don't look at it like that because you know how things go. I mean, Birmingham was a winnable game, so
Preston was a winnable game.
Yeah, so they're all winnable games. When you look at it that way, I mean, Sheffield United was a winnable game. So
it's when you look at the teams that have come up from League One in Rotherham and Wigan. They've both started really well, actually, haven't they?
Yeah, they're both trying to start finding their feet. They want to make sure they consolidate exactly the same way we did when we came up. And they're expecting to, or expecting is the wrong word. They're hoping that they don't get dragged into this relegation scrape. So they started real well. And why shouldn't they? They've just been promoted. They're on a bit of a high.
And to be fair to them, I mean, after what happened the other season when they went down, obviously administration kicked in and whatever else. I mean, good luck to him. So, hello, Hudson. Yeah, he agrees. He's Northern. I mean, look, it's good luck to him. Obviously, not against us, obviously. And let's hope we get the 3 points because we need them.
It has been tough for Wigan in the last few years, especially with the administration stuff. And they managed to rebuild their squad and get promoted from League One last season. And it does kind of feel like at the moment they are still in that transitional rebuilding stage to maybe get back to that competitive Wigan that we all knew growing up as them as a Premier League team.
Well, I sort of agree with that. They did win the division, don't forget. They did finish champions, and so that's no mean feat. We know how that happens. Yes, they are rebuilding out of administration, and they new owners will hopefully take them forward. But I remember Wigan when they weren't the Premier League team and they were nothing before they got backed through. So they've come a long way, they've dropped a long way, and they're rebuilding to get back to where they wanted to be.
Going with what you said there, Dave, I remember Wigan back in, I think I was mascot for the first time back in 2002 for my 8th birthday. It was against Wigan Athletic.
Wow.
And I think it was a 1-1 draw back in League One, like I said, and it was, I can't remember who played from back then. Probably no one, same as us, but it is what it is.
But we know, we've rebuilt our own team. We know what it's like. Maybe ours was a bit more drastic than their administration and where we ended up. But they're no mugs. Wigan are no mugs. That's what you got to remember. They're no mugs. They'll be looking to get a point at the very least.
Yeah, that's it. I'll have a chicken strip, please, Dash. Thank you.
We haven't seen much of Wigan this season, but one game we did watch was a couple of weeks ago when they were on TV away at Norwich, and you had a corner bet on, so you were fully focused on this game.
One shot.
But they played really well at Norwich, and you think Norwich should just come down. They've just come up. Norwich were at home, and you're probably thinking Norwich are going to dominate this, but Wigan had many chances at that game to win it, and feel like they were quite unlucky to win it, but they're dangerous, aren't they?
Yeah, they look good. I mean, I've watched the highlights, obviously, every single week, the Football League show, you've probably watched them yourself, and to be fair, they play some decent football. Like, they like to get down the channels and whatever else, but it's just one of those ones. Are they going for it? Is it one of those ones of, just go straight for it and not, I say some certain words there, not mess about as such? Because I know that Rotherham, they had the same mentality of, we're not going to sit here and try and defend sort of like 0-0s and whatever else to gain points. We're going to go for it, go by the scruff of the neck. But I feel like Wigan are kind of doing that as well.
I think they were, just gone through the Burnley game there. They were unlucky apparently in that game, but Burnley were more clinical than they were. So
I also read the head. I think Wigan had 18 shots against Burnley.
18 shots, but not that many on target. And that's the thing. Burnley had 6 or 7, and 5 of those went in.
But obviously, it comes down like obviously who's more clinical. But at the same time, they're making opportunities at the same time. You've got to look at that. And I mean, for a team, like to do that at any level and any sort of opposition, like it could have been Fulham from last year. I mean, to have 18 shots with probably 6, I mean, that might be completely crap. But I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of that.
No, I agree. I think you're right. You're right. I think the bottom line, the absolute bottom line,
we didn't have that many shots against Burnley. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the whole bottom line is we know ourselves. The whole teams like Luton thing that we had previous season. No one's easy rollover, and you shouldn't expect to beat anyone easily because it just doesn't happen in this division.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I look at Wigan and I think they're a real threat.
Yeah.
I think they're a threat to us. I mean, like I said, I don't know too much about what they possess on a football pitch, but all I know is by what I've seen, like statistically, on obviously the app that you look at on the Football League highlights. That's all I know. That's all I can go by. But I'm sure there's Wigan fans out there that probably look at it and go, "Yeah, to be fair, like we go for it. We're doing this, we're doing that." That's what we did in the second season.
I think they're realistic. I think they're realistic where they've been recently. They've just got out where they feel they should be on. I think they're realistic. I think they're expecting a hard game.
Well, let's find out what a Wigan fan thinks. Dave, you caught up with this Wigan fan earlier in the week. Barry Worthington, he's the producer and editor of the PWU podcast. Let's see how you did.
I'm joined by Barry from Progress, a unique podcast from Wigan Athletic. How are you doing, Barry?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Back in the Championship. It's lovely.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on. It's nice to get the opposition's view before we go to a game. Let's get straight in with the questions. Let's get straight in there. Newly promoted back to the Championship, really good season last season. How does it feel being back there?
Well, it feels great. It feels I know this is a bit of a cliche, but it feels that we're back where we belong. And I don't mean that by saying that our club's a Championship club. We got relegated due to administration. If some of you supporters will remember, this season we went down, we were placed into administration and deducted 12 points. And we had a fantastic run at the end of the season. We beat Hull City 8-0 in one of the final games. And it went to the final game of the season, actually. And we had to beat Fulham at the DW Stadium to stay up with a 12-point deduction. And we was winning that game 1-0. And our centre midfielder, Joe Williams, made a challenge on the edge of the box, won the balls clean as a whistle, and the referee gave Fulham a free kick and they buried it into the back of the net. And apparently the guy who scored the free kick, it was the first one he'd scored and he's never scored since. So it was like the gods conspired. So we felt a little bit cheated at that. And that day in the stand was a consortium who wanted to take over a Championship club. And if we have stayed up, they were going to take over the club. And then they pulled out because we was relegated by 1 point. And Barnsley actually stayed up, and so we felt really cheated about that, and we nearly lost the club the following season because of different things going on with the administrators, and it was a terrible thing. And then, like you said, last year we had a really good season. We finished the season as champions, even though we only started pre-season with 3 contracted players. The managers did a brilliant job bringing in the right type of players, the characters. And we won the league. So it felt like a little bit of retribution on the EFL for relegating us, the fact that we got back in, and the surroundings of our administration weren't your classic one. It was, in fear of getting sued, I'll not say what it was, but it was something to do with a poker player losing a bet.
Yeah, and you know what, we can empathise with you with the points deductions and the unfairness of how they come around, because we took a massive hit, as you know, and it took us years to get back. So you've done well to bounce back up relatively quickly. How's the start of the season been? We can talk about the game at the weekend in a moment, but how's the season gone for you guys? How do you feel your team is performing?
Brilliant. I've been loving it. We've come up as champions, and to finish any league as champions, you have to have a certain something about you, a bit of metal, that character. And it's shown in the results so far, apart from yesterday, which we'll, like you said, apart from Saturday, which we'll talk about. We had a local derby the first game of the season, Preston North End at home, who are a mid-table championship club. So it was a real test for us. That finished nil apiece, and I think all Preston games have finished nil apiece this season.
Except for one. Except for one.
Strange, yeah. But then our next game was Norwich away. And, that was the big challenge. And we actually went in front. We missed an opportunity to make it 2-0. But we drew that game 1 apiece. We should have played Coventry on the Tuesday, but obviously with Coventry's problems, that game was called off. We was Bristol City at home, and we drew that game 1 apiece. Bit of a theme.
There is a theme coming here. Yeah.
But then we went to Birmingham, and we had a red card on 10 minutes, which has since been rescinded. Well, but it didn't help us on the day. But we actually won that game. I thought Birmingham was a really poor side, and we dominated the game with 10 men, and we came away with a 1-0 win. So up until Saturday, it was a really encouraging start to the season. I thought we'd probably be lower mid-table, about 18th, between 18th and 16th, and it seemed like that was playing out to me. And I still think that's where we're going to finish. So we've not done too bad, and I'm quite pleased, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but you say finish safe because that could be your first goal. I think when we came back to the Championship, we all said if we finish 1 off the bottom 3, we're happy. And it's turned out for us to be quite good, isn't it? Because of the playoffs last season, which, again, I don't want to go back to them, but I thought we could have won. Maybe not the final, but, the semi-final was a bit bad. You mentioned the game at the weekend, and it was 5-1. 5-1. That sounds like you were totally outclassed the whole game. Does that score really reflect the game?
It doesn't, but I have to say Burnley were better than us. They were a class above, but 5-1 definitely didn't reflect the game. They scored. The stats speak for themselves. They had 8 attempts. We had 18. They had 6 on target. We had 4, and I think that's where the difference was. They was hitting the target with their efforts. So they had four attempts on. We had 4 attempts on target. They had 6. They only missed scoring off one of those that hit the target. And I think the step up between League One and the Championship is like the step up between the Championship and the Premier League. You give a team a sniff and they take it, and you're a goal behind. And that's sort of what happened yesterday. We were 2 down by 20 minutes, and then we were fighting to get back into the game. And the longer the half went on, though, we started to grow into it a little bit, and we were very physical with them, as well, because they got a lad up front, Nathan Teller, Southampton. Gosh, he's what a player he is. He tore us apart. I watched him last week as well against Blackpool, and he tore Blackpool apart and scored 2 goals there. But he was different class. But we got a penalty just before half time. The goalkeeper brought Callum Wang down in the area, and we scored that 2-1 back in the game. Came out in the second half, pressing, was all over them like a sweaty rash, and they got a breakaway. They lobbed the ball up the field, flicked it on. Nathan Teller have just been praised. He's still possibly a yard and a half offside, and he was clear as the bell that he was offside because the rugby had played the night before, and there was a line across the 25-yard line. And he was stood on it, but the line didn't put his flag up, and he's through 3-1. And you could see the players, the stuffing was taken out of them. Yeah. And then they scored 2 late goals. By that stage, it was a red-hot day, and we put a lot in. I think we sort of given up a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Did they not pop 2 in about 80, was it 86, 88, something like that?
Yes, 86 and 88. Brownhill and I can't remember the other lad. A sub came on and he put one in as well.
So when you see your team has actually put in a performance and they've got a poor result, what does that make you look forward to for the next game? Is it they're going to put this result right, or is it just one of those freak results where, it just didn't go your way?
No, because the performance we put in was probably 20 minutes from the 90. So for 70 minutes we were second best. But we're not going to stay in this division by beating Burnley home and away. That'd be, if we were going for promotion, I'd be looking for us to do that. Yeah. It's games against the clubs around who are going to be around us, such as Birmingham, such as Preston, Bristol City, and we took points off them. And that's.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there's 3 teams that we haven't beat. We lost to Preston, we drew with Birmingham, and we lost at Bristol City. So, I would have I don't want to be presumptuous. I would have expected us to get something out of those games, and we really didn't. So also when you come up from the lower league, from the league below, and you're playing an ex-Premier League side who's just come down, who've spent well, they spent their budget well. They've sold lots of players, like Burnley have sold lots of players, but they spent their budget well. You don't go there expecting to win. You're quite right. And when Luton went there, we played super good. And they scraped a 1-1 against us. That's how I look at that game. So anything can happen, right? Absolutely anything can happen in this division.
Yeah, I don't think Nathan Teller played in that game, though, did he?
Well, I've got to be honest. I might have had a few jars. I might not have noticed.
No, he didn't. I know he didn't.
But they didn't create. They were more forward sideward. Their possession was superb. You couldn't get around that. But actually, didn't create as much as we did. That day. What do you think? You sort of touched on it already, but the ambitions for Wigan this season clearly is safety, isn't it?
Yes, without a doubt. Yeah. What I think most of the fans were looking forward to was a bit of mid-table mediocrity. So we're not sweating on getting relegated, and we've not got the panic attacks about making the playoffs or going for promotion. So just a nice stabilising season, which will something to build on for the coming seasons ahead. A lot of our players that we've got at the moment, as I said, we started last season with just 3 contracted players. We've signed a lot of players on 2-year contracts. So next season, those contracts are going to be running out, and maybe we're looking to do a little bit of a rebuild next summer, hopefully in the Championship, and bringing in I don't want to sound disrespectful at all towards the players here, but League One bottom end of Championship players are a different calibre to the ones at the top end. Yeah. And you have to, I believe in showing a little bit of faith to the lads who's got you. I'm 100% behind that. You get up, you've got to give them a chance. You've got to let them, try and prove themselves at Championship level. And I think, to a degree, they have been doing.
Yeah.
But if you want to progress, then you need a different calibre of player coming in. And I think it's the stabilising this season, and then the next season is the progression where we're going to look towards. As a club, I think that's the plan anyway, and that's what the supporters are hopefully, looking ahead to.
The progression is the main thing. Again, I can relate to that because that's what Luton Town have done. And we've had a lot of signings this season, some really good ones, but we just haven't clicked at home at the moment. We haven't clicked. We haven't got that first win under our belts at home. So clearly, as a team, we're going to be looking to put that right when we play you guys. Who as Luton fans? Name a couple of your players that I should really look out for, because I'm sure there's one that stands out.
Well, if I start at the back, we've got Jack Watmore, ex-Portsmouth.
Yeah.
He's come through their academy. We signed him last summer on a free transfer. Unbelievable that we got him on a free transfer. Been absolutely a colossus for us. He was the player of the season last season. He's so assured, good on the ball. Hardly ever makes a tackle because he reads the game so well. Just fantastic. So at the back, and then James Mclean. Everybody knows about James Mclean. Everybody knows who he is. He's at times they treat him like a pantomime villain, but his heart and soul, Wigan Athletic. When he was in administration, he was a Stoke City player at the time. He gave £5,000 to the Save Our Club Fund. So it shows our club means something to him, and he plays with that attitude as well. He plays for the club rather than himself. So that he's always good to watch. But a couple of names that you may not have heard of: Callum Wang, he plays out wide right. A striker, scored 14 goals last season, quite a few assists. He's come through the academy. He's been we've loaned him out quite a few times to League Two clubs, and he spent some time in Scotland as well. Last season he had a big season, and we're hoping that he's going to step up this season. He's 24 now, so he needs to be producing at Championship level. And then we've got the Norwegian Prince, Tello Asgard. Now, he's been with us since he was 12. He's from Liverpool, even though he's Norwegian. His parents are Norwegian. They play for the Liverpool Philharmonic Orchestra, and that's why they're over here. He has a love of music himself. He's a musician, but he's a musician on the pitch as well. And in fact, last season, we beat Blackburn in the FA Cup. in the third round,
Yeah.
and he won the game with a goal in the 90th minute, and it won goal of the FA Cup. He hit it from he was wide left and he killed it into the top corner. Brilliant goal. He's only 19. He's destined for a massive future in the game, whether it's with us or if he moves on. But he's not been starting. He's one coming in off the bench. He come on Saturday when we got beat by Burnley, but I'm sure sooner or later he's going to be starting. And also, the last one I'd say would be Nathan Broadhead, who was on loan at Everton last season. On loan at Sunderland last season from Everton, and he scored 10 goals in 20 appearances for Sunderland. And I think 7 of those appearances was as a substitute. So, he's quite proficient. We've got him on loan for the season. He scored at Birmingham, scored a brilliant goal at Birmingham. Really, he is a goal scorer. So again, he's not at a start. So we're waiting for him to get his first start. So he's come off the bench a couple of times. So yeah. So at the back, like I said, we've got Watmore, Lang, Hasgard, and Broadhead. And I think you'll probably know the rest of our players anyway.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I'm going to be looking especially out for the Norwegian Prince now. I think that if he comes on or if he starts, I'm going to go, I know this guy.
Yeah.
Are you coming down for the game, or are you going to be watching it on the old box?
Well, I'll not be coming down. I've been previously. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit of a trek. We have to pick and choose our games these days, don't we? With the finances. Yeah,
you're not wrong. So you're not coming, but you're going to be watching it somehow, I'd imagine. So what's going to happen? What do you think? What do you think the result's going to be for you guys? What do you think?
Well,
tough question, isn't it?
Yeah. If I'm going with my heart, obviously I'm going to say we're going to win, but I'm not going to go with my heart. I'm going to look at it, and try and weigh it up. We can be very difficult to break down. You won't think that after Saturday's game, but we can. I actually think it's going to be a draw. I'm going to go for a draw. I think it'll be one apiece. The last time we played you at your place, it was the season we got relegated through administration, which I keep saying it wasn't our fault. But I remember us taking the lead against you. I think Cedric Kipri might have got sent off in that game as well. We went down to 10 men. Or Shea Dunkley. It was one of our centre-halves got sent off. We was winning 1-0 with about 10 minutes to go. And I think Lee scored. And then right at the death, Callum McManaman, obviously he was our man of the match in the FA Cup final in 2013. He scored and he celebrated like he'd scored in the FA Cup final. So so we owe you one, but I don't think we're going to win. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Barry, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, and enjoy the rest of the season. Apart from the one on Saturday, when hopefully we might just get our first home win.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good chat again, Dave. Thanks for stepping in and doing that whilst me and Bataro couldn't do it. And thanks to Barry for joining us. He's gone for a 1-1 draw tomorrow. I am expecting it to be a tough game. I would really love us to get a win, but we're going to have to be our best again, and to get a result. We're going to have to be our best every game, Championship, to get a result.
Well, let's just hope that they're not very good on the day that they've had their worst game yet, because that would probably benefit us massively. And but.
No, I'm not. I genuinely, as I said at the beginning, I'm genuinely hopeful. I mean, first off, it was a brilliant chat with Barry, to be fair. And he was very honest about how he thinks that Wigan are where they are right now. However, having said that, I fully expect us to go and get our first win of the season at home. I fully expect it. I'm not underestimating Wigan at all, but I think the lads at home are on a roll. They know they need to prove it, and I think we're going to get a couple of goals, hopefully. And you do right. We'll be right on it, but I think we're going to win.
If they come out the blocks against us as well, I think that'll benefit us. I always said that a team that comes to play football will benefit us.
And Cotton Morris at the moment is looking unreal. You know, the goals he scored in the last couple of games before Cardiff were brilliant, and he just looks like a proper handful now, doesn't he, Colton?
Oh yeah, he's starting to show. I mean, to be fair, I think beginning of the season where he hadn't scored in the first couple of games. I mean, he's on the bench most of the time, but I mean, he played against obviously Newport in the cup, I believe, was it? And he obviously came on against Burnley, but you could see what he had.
Yeah,
he's very all-rounded. I think for a striker, very a very good target man, which is good to see. And obviously, apparently our new record signing as well, towards Nathan Jones. So I'm excited to see him. I mean, I said when we first signed him that I didn't really. I was a bit like, but I take it back because he looks very, very good. Take it
Very
back.
good player.
Well, yeah, it's exciting, when you see a player almost evolving to become a proper Luton player for us. That's how I look at it. And, he's performed well recently, so I'm looking forward to it. I generally think we're going to have a good game.
Well, let's hope he's on form tomorrow, maybe get us a couple of goals. But it's going to be a good game. And as always on the preview show, we do a prediction. Batara, you on it last week.
Can I just say, right, any
and you didn't answer your phone when we tried to call you either.
Whoa, hang on a minute. I think I was washing my hair at that point. It's very important for myself. But what I was going to say is, any time I'm not here and you can't get a score prediction from me, it does not count.
No, it does count.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, because you have to get me in. If I'm not in, it's void, my friend. Come on.
Listen, all you have to do if you know you're not coming is text your prediction. Just text your prediction. Anyway,
that's what I think about every night.
But you didn't get it right. Anyway, you didn't get it right.
How do you know? I didn't give you a prediction.
Have we done the leaderboard for this yet? No,
I'll tell you what.
Because it doesn't exist, because I haven't been here for two times.
I've given him the task to do this, and we've still not got it. So all I know is
I'm winning.
I think I went for a win last week against Sheffield United. So I don't know. I think everyone said 1-1.
I went for a 1-1 draw, to be fair.
What for tomorrow?
No, in the Sheffield United game.
Yeah,
so I get points.
You weren't there. You can't say it.
No, I said a 1-1 draw.
What's your prediction?
When I was in the van, mate, I said 1-1 draw. 1-1 draw, boys.
Wigan tomorrow. What's your prediction then? Come on.
2-0 Luton.
Oh, I'm very bold, and do you know what? In my mind, I'm just thinking we're just going to hit form, and we're going to get 3. And
what's the score going to be,
Dave?
Dave's
going to be right.
3-0.
3-1 then, that's what I'm going to go for.
I think he's right. I think it's going to be 3-0.
Cool.
But in case...
we'll find out tomorrow.
In case it's not 2-0 and it's 3-0, I've also said that as well. So, yeah.
Cool. Nice stuff, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Enjoy the game tomorrow if you're at Kenilworth Road. And if you're listening to this, go watch it on YouTube. You can do that by searching Owen the Town on YouTube and subscribe if you haven't yet already. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.